What's going on, YouTube? This is 007 back at it again, giving you a brief update of what's been going on with the 55, 90, and 220. This here is my 90. Not a lot going on. I did manage to clean it up a little bit. The front and the side pane glass on the inside are clean. That back wall's still a little messy, but I'm not worried about that. This tank right now is just housing a bunch of coral and rock that I haven't figured out how to incorporate into my build. As you can see, I pulled all my frags out of my sump, and some pieces were within this 90. I just haven't put them back in there yet. I'm still trying to figure out a home for them inside of my tank. But a bunch of coral I need to take care of and get rid of. Well, not get rid of, but stop it from sitting so close together. Find it a happy home. Right now, this is just a holding tank for rock and coral that I haven't placed in my 220. I've started aquascaping recently. I was supposed to put this video out probably close to 5 days ago, but I've been very busy with work and trying to do a little bit here and there, but for the most part everything in this tank is still living, and it's not very happy, but you see some of the color. It's not as vibrant as they were in the 90 when it was all happy and everything. Everything's been disturbed and not getting the flow that it was once appreciating, because right now I'm only using those two max jets back there. My mangroves are just through in here for now. They're not happy either, but I'll take care of that within the next few days or whatever. But just a brief update. I've started aquascaping the 220. Excuse the pane of the glass, a little dusty, and from the sand that I put in here and digging in the tank, trying to rearrange rock and everything. Got a little splashing on the outside of the tank. I will clean that up and do a formal presentation of this tank once I get everything situated and where I am, but for the most part it's coming along pretty nicely. Got this little tub here just housing some algae for my tangs, trying to get them to eat more of the real stuff instead of the nori. I pulled this out of my fuge. I had a bunch of these little feather dusters and tube worms growing in it. It just looks ugly and godly to me, and I just didn't like it, so figured I'd throw it in here, let those worms try and spawn and spread their larvae in the tank as well. It's great fish food for your fishes, as well as your algae right here. So I'm just letting them munch on that at will. It's like a buffet in the corner. That will not stay there, people. I've just got that in there for now just to pacify them a little bit. Everybody's been taking pretty much a little interest. I've been noticing a little bit coming out every day. I haven't quite caught anybody in there nipping. Oh, well, there we go. There we go. Yeah, but anyway, crabs are doing some work. I've had a few losses in between this transition. It was right here just a minute ago. I don't know if he was playing possum or not, but I had a horseshoe crab. And here he is. Probably got swept in the corner. He's got a worm growing on him, but he's dead. I'm gonna have to pull him out. He was swimming around and trying to dig in the sand and everything, and I think my problem with him was he wasn't doing too well in my 55 because there was so much rock in there and he couldn't move around and get to the food the way he wanted. He's a relatively small one, a little baby. Didn't spend a lot of money on him, but I had so much flow in that tank and so much rock, he really just couldn't find his niche in there. Threw him here, thought he'd be a little bit happier, and he didn't make it. I have yet to see both of my purple firefish that I put in here. There's a lot of rock in here and a lot of hiding spaces, and my red ones came out, but I have yet to see my purples. It's kind of pissing me off because those are my favorite, and I travel a great distance to get them, and I don't know where they are. So I'll probably have to reorder or take another trip to go get some more. But for the most part, that's it. I plan on incorporating 5 Corellia pumps in here. Those are 2. That's not the final position of them. Just cleaned them up and threw them in here just to add some more flow. Still got the 3 MaxiJet 1200s in the back. Those will be coming out once I clean up the rest of my Corellias, and I'll put them in there. Got one more there, and there are 2 more that are going in this tank. Besides having the double returns, I hope that's enough flow. If not, you know, I'll be thinking about possibly purchasing a wave box. I really don't want to, but it does seem to give the flow and the current that I want, that simulates the ocean. However, you know, I'm just not a big fan on buying equipment that, you know, is ridiculously priced. You know, I see a lot of DIYs using a Tunzi and making their own box. I've yet to see one in detail to incorporate for myself. That'd be the cheapest way to go for me. But I'm not gonna, if I can help it, I'm not gonna spend that type of money on a wave box. You know, they work nice. I've seen them on some people's tanks and they enjoy them, and I've seen some that are in people's tanks that just look like garbage, and it's a large footprint, and for some tanks it just didn't work well for them. Don't know why, but that's just been my experience. But we'll see once I get the other Corellias in here and see how the flow's going. Cleaned out my sump, got all the rock out of my sump, and took a lot of the macroalgae and stuff out. Left 2 big balls of Chetomorpha in there. This video is premature. Like I say, you know, I still got to clean everything up. Got some splashes, got some sand buildup and detritus from things settling in on my pumps and stuff. I don't like that, so I try and keep my sump pretty clean for the most part. I don't keep it super clean to where all that nutrients and good bacteria doesn't grow in my sump, but I do like a clean look and feel. You know, I definitely hate seeing that sand and detritus build up at the bottom of my skimmer area, so I'll be taking care of that too. Still haven't purchased my media for my reactors yet. However, I did put some carbon in here just to, you know, help polish the water a little bit. You can't really see the flow that I'm getting, but the way I have this rigged up, I think I got a nice amount of flow going through these to tumble, you know, whatever media I decide to purchase. If I shut this off, you can see that I really overfilled this. It shouldn't be all the way to the top, but I figured 220 the more the merrier for now. It didn't cost me a lot to fill this thing at all, just a couple bucks. But if I start to turn it, you'll see it'll start tumbling and rises all the way up. So it rose up at halfway, opened up, so I know I got enough flow going through those. What I actually did was split off one of my return lines and ran it to both reactors, put a splitter on there. I gotta dial in this skimmer here. As you can see, I haven't cleaned it, and pretty full, nasty. It's overflowing right now, but it is doing its job, people. It is doing its job. I've just been busy with work for the last 3 days, so kind of let it go. But I'm just amazed at how much came out of this tank. That thing is full. Probably need to turn it down. I think I got my bubbles too far up into the neck of my reaction chamber. You only want that to rise probably about 2 to 3 inches. I think when I left off last time I was messing with it, I just cleaned it out, slapped it back on there, and I didn't dial it back down. But anywho, that's another topic, another story. Finally filled up my quarantine tank to capacity. Still debating if I want to make that my quarantine tank or my auto top off. More likely, I don't want a bunch of tanks and tubs and trash cans around to hold water. I'll probably keep this as my top off tank. I had a person ask me why I got that light there. No reason actually. Just cut it on when I did my last video, because actually that came with my tank. That 20 gallon, that was one of my first tanks. But it's just a regular fluorescent bulb. I just put it on there just to get the equipment out the way. I stay in an apartment, so I don't have a lot of storage space, so it's not hurting nobody there, and it helps to contain the evaporation loss. And it's nice to cut that on every once in a while to make sure that pump that's back there in the back is still functioning properly, circulating the water so the water doesn't get stagnant. But it's just there, people. Nothing fancy about it. Not sure on which way I'm gonna go with my refuge here. I got so much rock. I'm thinking about stockpiling that with rock on top of that live sand bed, and leaving a little bit of room for some for that chaetomorpha. But I don't know, I'm getting kind of mixed feelings about it. If I can help it, I really don't want any rock down here, but I'm still debating on what I'm gonna do with that. Got some nice pieces of sponge that are growing there. They used to be in my 90. That particular sponge doesn't like a whole lot of light. He's just there for temporary storage right now. But if you take a look at a lot of my rock in my tank, it has propagated itself, and that sponge is like everywhere of some of the rocks that came off my 90. So that's kind of a good thing. You know, it can look ugly depending on where it's growing, but it's a filter feeder, so it helps polish and clean the water. I did fix my leaks. I have no more leaks in my tank. I use clear PVC glue, cement, so to speak. That gives me a real clean look, people, and I like it so far, but then I do have my dislikes. That back pump there for that right side of my return is powered by an Didnt 1260, I do believe, rated for about 900 gallons per hour. See, it's dialed down. And this here is my Aquarium pump that I had running my 90. I do believe that's about 700 per gallon. 700 gallons per hour. And I have to dial that down as well. This tank is only rated for about 1200 gallons per hour max. Any more power that I try and force through here, I'm either going to end up with a wet floor, or that there is just going to gurgle like crazy because the overflows can't keep up with it. That is one of my biggest dislikes about this tank, that I got it from the factory and they come with 1-inch bulkheads. This tank would be so much sweeter if it had 1/2-inch bulkheads. So much sweeter. The flow will be ridiculous. Some say too much flow is not good, but then there's some that like that flow. That way they don't have to use a lot of wave makers and power heads to get their desired flow rate. But I would probably research a little bit more, or either plumb both return lines to run off that back Didnt pump and just make up for it in my tank. I got 5 Corellis I plan to put in here right now that are the larger ones that are pretty much rated for I want to say about anywhere from 8 to 1000 GPH. I can't remember the specs on them, but that will give me the desired flow rate in my tank. Still don't know what I'm gonna do as far as that go, but in a nutshell, it's working, it's functioning. My heater is completely off because I'm running the metal halides, and my apartment stays pretty warm. Even in the winter, I rarely have to cut on my heat. I got a garden view, and I'm right next to the boiler room and the laundry room, so I rarely have to cut on my heat, even when it gets to the zeros. So my apartment is always pretty warm. Might think about getting a chiller, but for the most part, that contraption stuck in the wall over there is my chiller. That's another piece of equipment that I do not look forward to purchasing and will try and stay away from at all means. I just can't see myself shelling out, you know, $500–600 for this equipment. It's nice and it does automate your reef, but some of the prices on this stuff is ridiculous. And if there's a surefire way to keep those costs low, by all means, I'd rather be spending that money on livestock than just a piece of equipment that they're only going to warranty for a year. Or if they give a lifetime warranty, there's so many stipulations for if it ever fails, you'd have to jump through a hell of a lot of rope to get a replacement. That's just my opinion on it. You know, take it with a grain of salt and keep on pushing. If you